Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to the final installment of the Love Oirs series. This has been so wild, and I'm just full of gratefulness and thanks to all of y'all. Just to get started, the event is scheduled for about an hour. Just gonna go through the excerpt, and then you guys are welcome to ask questions. Unmuting, I would prefer just because I would like a dialogue, but if you're not comfortable, you can totally use the chat feature. Before we get into it, again, I'm full of gratitude and thankfulness. Today is the first day of pre-sale. It's crazy to think that we're here. It's also crazy to understand that we have been consistent together in doing this event series. A lot of you guys have been here since the very first time in May 21st, when I introduced you all to myself as an author. It's really I'm getting comfortable saying that about myself. And the love and support has been unwavering, I've noticed, and it's been so warming and so fulfilling. And I'm so thankful for all of you guys, especially in my insane self-doubt moments. You guys have been there and uplifted me consistently. And I wouldn't be here without you guys. I love you, my tribe, my family. Thank you so much. So by now you should have gotten the excerpt. I'm so excited to hear what you guys thought. If you had any opinions, any angry opinions, anything along those lines, I'm super excited to hear all of that. But I am going to just jump right in and read. So without further ado, let's do it. Okay. But seventh grade was strange, as it is for most in seventh grade. And I was completely and utterly swept up in the biggest crush I had ever had on another girl. I had always known that I was different. If all of the crushes that I had as a youth consisted of girls and boys that turned out to be gay later in life had anything to do with it. This was a big deal, okay? She was 6 foot in the seventh grade on the basketball team, very brown, and wore her hair just like Songs in A Minor Alicia Keys. It's like she wanted me to fall in love with her. We would walk and talk and flirt between classes, and when she wasn't near me, she'd have my helpless stare from across the courtyard. The times she would undo her cornrows and leave her hair out and brilliant for each strand to flow and bounce in the wind with each fade away. I had it bad. So bad that I would give her my last anything in hopes that she would like me. I would hang on to her last word as she talked about other girls in hopes that she would finally open her eyes and see me. Hysterically enough, the straw that broke the camel was when I gave her a cheeseburger, my last and only cheeseburger. I was hungry, she was hungry, and we had just gotten back from a school field trip to Magic Mountain. We stopped by McDonald's and I bought a double cheeseburger that she kept coaxing me to give her. To this day, I will never know why I was so eager for this girl's attention that I would go without food just for her fleeting satisfaction, attention, and gratitude. Quite possibly because, in retrospect, I believed love to be sacrifice, to be tears, to be miles of separation, to be slaps across the face, and verbal lashing. More than anything at that time, I wanted my crush's love, no matter what that love subconsciously reminded me of. Walking from McDonald's, we arrived down the block to her home. Only one of us was content, full of burger, and sated. And then there was me, desperate in so many ways, gazing into her eyes as we sat on the couch. So I won this for you today, she leaned closer to tell me, pulling a pink teddy bear out of her book bag. Wow, thank you. It kind of smells like soda. I caught a whiff of Sprite as I brought the bear toward my nose. Well, then why did you smell it? Anyways, I wanted to know if you like me. Was she for real? I thought, do I like her? I had just used the last of my money to give her my food. Also, has she been around a mirror lately? I, yeah, I like you. I think about you all the time. What do you think about? She scoots closer to me on the couch. Oh, I think about how you look and being close to you, and my cell phone rings, as if by some obnoxious strain of fate, bringing me out of whatever spell that was. And I'm outside, I hear my sister announce, flipping open my Samsung. Okay, here I come. Thanks for the burger. Getting my things together and rising toward the front door, I say, thanks for the bear. So I was saying that, well, I like you and I have a girlfriend, so we can't talk like that. I stand there, now in the doorway, looking as dumb as ever, starving and furious. But I just gave you my cheeseburger. A car horn blares from the front of the house. Jarbrielle, let's go. I'm sorry, she says, less of an apology and more of a hurried non sequitur to goodbye. I grabbed my things and the soda covered bear and headed to the car. And that is the excerpt, ladies and gents. A little wee bit of a sneak peek of the book. Question, comments, concerns, opinions, feelings, criticisms.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to jump in here really quick. So first of all, the passion. Can I sit for many of the next table reads as we go forward? But no, one part I wanted to kind of highlight that really just kind of stood out for me reading through this was you kind of talk about what you think love being, more on like sacrificing and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, what do you think changes in us, how in a crush, the going without, sacrificing, this kind of putting yourself onto the back burner that we go through with crushes. But then let's flash forward for those that, like, once we get into a relationship, if things start to become unattended, and again, you're maybe being put on the back burner, going without, what changes and now makes that same kind of behavior become negative? Where do you think that comes from?
Where does it come from? I want to make sure I understand. So where does it come from of us putting ourselves on the back burner when we have a crush? Is that correct?
What changes it from being something that is almost like thrilling at first? So at first it's exciting.
Oh, I understand. I understand.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think that what changes is like the newness and the possibility. So like when you have a crush, at least for me, in the beginning, it's the crush is the possibility. It's the realm of all the things that it could be. And so like I think when I have a crush and I see this person like certain things or want certain things, I'm just like, oh, if I do this, if I can do that, if I can satisfy this, then all of the possibilities and the things that I'm thinking are just going to happen like that. And that's like kind of like, control, right? Because that other person is their own person and they have their own autonomy. And so I can't pull strings on my end. I can't do things that I think are going to delight them and make them like me. For the hope that they're going to just do that. Sometimes it does happen that way and they feel the same way back. But usually it doesn't. And so I think that what changes is in the beginning, there's a whole bunch of possibility. And then after you keep doing and keep hitting those walls, you're just like, okay, bro, you don't like me. I understand this crush is unrequited. It's not requited like I thought it was. And so like you kind of just stop. And I think that's what happens. You start to understand that the possibility isn't there anymore after you've given your last cheeseburger or your last fry or whatever the case is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And the food sacrifices, man.
Deep. It cut deep. It cut real deep. I had to go home and probably eat like black eyed peas, which are like my jam, but still, like, I wanted a double cheeseburger.
Personally, no, I like that kind of measurement of sacrifice that you used in there. It's very humble. It's, kind of simple beginnings, but it also means a lot. Like I know for myself with John, one of my favorite little like love movies is like Julie and Julia, where it talks about like Julia Child's life. And there's a scene in where she says, because I love you, I'm going to give you the first bite. I feel
That's
like
some love. That's some love for that. That's some love for that ass. Whitney says, amazing. First of all, the tone, the pace, you're truly a storyteller. Truly a storyteller. Felt like I was a fly on the wall right next to that couch. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Yeah. Did anyone have like a particular line, like while reading, that they could maybe relate to? Does anyone have any stories from their first crush that were maybe parallel to my story?
I love the line when you're like, when you describe her hair as strands bouncing in the wind. And it's like with your first crush, you always, there's something like that's always extraterrestrial about them that's really regular to other people. And I really
Yeah.
like that moment in time that you kind of captured. So that was great. But I wanted to ask, what were the steps you took to kind of go back in time? Are there steps that you take to go back in time and remember these memories? Because I know I have a hard time recalling how I felt in specific times and places in my life. So are there steps you take to kind of, recall those things?
Yeah, you know what? Some of the for whatever reason, this memory is like prominent for me. I don't know why, because like I don't even I consider this person to like be one of my past crushes. But it definitely wasn't the most devastating. But to remember this, I think I just kind of sat with myself, took some deep breaths, and just kind of started writing. Cleared my mind a bit, lit some incense, and kind of just took some deep breaths and remembered what happened. And yeah, I agree with you. Those little insignificant things that people are just like, what are you talking about? She just put on socks. But it's like, no, the way
right, it was the swag in which she did so. You know what I mean?
On. She just started with the toes and then pulled them up.
Right. Mind blown. Right.
Thank you. Yeah. It was really cool. Kind of writing this, just because, yeah, I think that it was very healing. I don't think that I had any kind of like crazy trauma associated with this, but it was fun to kind of think back and find the humor in the situations, and also understand the ways in which I have changed as far as like how I view love and how I view attention and like getting attention from others, because we all need attention, right? It's just the ways in which you go about getting that and receiving that and taking it in. But yeah, it was really cool to write, and I'm just so thankful and glad that you guys liked it. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns?
I have a question for you.
Hi, Ms. Johnson.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm good.
I think I'll let you see me. But how are you feeling now that everyone here has read the excerpt? You've read it for us. How are you feeling now? Like, do you still have that anxiety that you had? Are you like a little relieved? Like,
yeah, I feel kind of relieved. Like I let go of a breath I wasn't holding in. I still feel nervous just because, the big day is a month out. But I do feel relieved, and also just I keep saying it, and I'm gonna keep saying it and probably annoy y'all. I just feel grateful, and really stoked that this is a thing and that y'all have been so like prominent in these event series. CRI. It doesn't take a lot to click a link on an Instagram page, but these past year and a half have been like so crazy, and I just thank y'all. But yeah, I do feel relieved, and I feel really excited, but also very nervous. But it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I just need you to just be comfortable in the fact that you're actually an author, and that people are going to address you as such. And when I tell people to buy your book, I need you to not cower. Don't do that all day.
Thank you. Oh gosh. Thank you, Monica. Cool.
You should tell the group about your experience with your interview yesterday.
Oh yeah, I was it's going to come out on Tuesday, but I was on a podcast called Between the Reads. this woman, Audra. She's very, very sweet. She made me feel right at home. Again, I was very, very nervous before it started. But we were just having a great conversation for about an hour. She was telling me her favorite works, which was really cool. Like all of these new experiences, complete strangers like my work it's wild. But we were just having like a really good conversation and deep diving into some of the lines and word choices and things of that sort. And that was really cool. But yeah, it's going to be out on Tuesday on most platforms, iHeartRadio. It's going to be on her personal Instagram, so I'll share that on Written by KD and my personal, and Spotify, etc. So it's going to be available on Tuesday. And yeah, super excited for you guys to listen. It's gonna be really good stuff. Yeah. Oh, let me check the chats.
If I can jump in with a question, kind of following on your interview. So you've kind of hosted, a couple of events yourself here, and then now, going with another platform and doing your interview there. Do you feel that you're kind of discovering anything about Darbrielle in terms of the author to readership kind of perspective that is maybe surprising so far? Do you feel like you're maybe opening up a bit easier, or are you not opening as quick as you would like for yourself? What are you kind of discovering so far just in the early stages?
Yeah, I'm discovering that I wasn't born to be an assistant my whole life. And I'll tell you what that means. I never, ever, ever wanted to be in charge of anything. I never wanted to be a leader in anything because I feel as though, and this is still true, I feel that I am I'm good at being in service to people. And I love the people that I love very, very strongly. And I just didn't believe that I would be in charge of things and telling folks what to do and telling people that I need this by then and etc. And it's never bossy, it's always in love, but I just never thought that I could be a leader. And so I feel like this year God is really saying, no, like this is who you are, and I really need you to stop and listen to me. And it's been scary. It's been really, really exhausting, but also at the same time, it's been very uplifting and kind of affirming. Not kind of, definitely affirming. And it feels like I'm being introduced to a new version of myself. And I love her. And I just want to keep evolving. I said this before, but the reason for all of this is love, and I just want to keep growing in love. And so, if leadership is supposed to be where I'm to be in love, then I'm going to be there and keep evolving toward the next. I'm really, really excited about that.
Very well said. Thank you.
Thank you. We never forget being let down, Philly. Yeah, we never forget. Yeah. Well, if there is nothing else, shall we chat? Does anybody want to talk about their first crush? Tracy?
I was like Whitney trying to remember my first crush. I was like, wait, okay. My first big crush was Brandon B. And he sat next to me in the 4th grade. And he was the 5th grade. He was so cute. He was not that cute, but he was so cute to me.
Not that cute.
And I think that Remy's right. Like there is something just like so extraterrestrial, just like intergalactic, just like inexplicable about this person that just draws you in, and also kind of covers up their flaws in some weird way.
That veil is thick. You can't see nothing but guys.
Right. Like I think about myself now, like somebody being like, hey, can I have your burger? I'd be like, no, what are you talking about?
Go get your burger. Yes, but like a walking IG filter. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's just like this veil that you're just like, whoa, like just astounded by this person. And You never forget being let down.
Brandon B is such a crush name. Such a crush name.
I wanted to say that.
It is
Brandon
such
B
a-
is so like you tell everybody was on him type of name, right?
Yes, yes. Oh, you know Brandon B. Oh yeah, I got English.
Yeah,
medium
girl.
Yeah, I had some boy crushes that I had. One in the second grade, his name was Nicholas. He was just so snaggletooth and so beautiful. He was just so cute to me. And then one that maybe Monica and my brother know, this boy named Chewy that used to live in our old apartment building. Chewy, he had my heart for sure. Brandon B was all on MASH. Oh my gosh, MASH. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Every time that I married Brandon B, I really felt it like in my soul. Every time.
John asked, has this experience ruined Sprite for you? No. Fortunately for me, no, it has not. But I did keep that bear for a long time and didn't wash it, so it was probably very gross. But I kept it for a long time because after that instance, as you'll learn in the book, I didn't see her again after that, for a very, very, very long time. So I kept the bear, but like I think after we moved, it got tossed because I was so over it. So yeah, no. I was just about to ask about little Jesus. So yeah, Chewy's name is, I believe in Mexican culture, Jesus, a nickname for Jesus is Chewy. Not really sure why that is, just like Richard and Dick and Bill and William. I don't understand, but that was his nickname. But yeah, any other questions? I don't want to like drag this out, but I do want to make sure that I give you guys room and space to any questions you may have lingering, any more comments.
What advice do you have for those with crushes?
Oh, girl, because that veil, like, how do you, I don't know. Right. What advice do I have? I see, and with crushes, and maybe Tracy could attest to this, I'm always the person that's like, you should do this, you should do that, you should wear this, oh, you should say that. And I'm always like trying to hype them up about the crush. But I feel like if the crush got to a point where, you know, as Austin said earlier, when that kind of shift happens and that possibility that you had in your head wasn't thrilling anymore, wasn't exciting anymore, I think that at that point I would kind of step in and be like, you know, maybe you should just like relax. Maybe we can go find somebody else. Maybe we can get your mind off of it. Let's go dancing. Let's do this. Like I'm a very like action advice giver, and so I would probably like suggest we do something or that they do something to kind of have them get over that situation, or we would just talk about it to death and analyze it until maybe they don't like them anymore. Right. Oh, Whitney says, I'm gonna miss this community. I'm gonna miss this community too, man. It's been really, really cool and kind of like symbolic. Every single month since May on the 21st, like that means something. You know, actually, I think Remy looked up what in numerology what the number 21 means, and like the root of I forget, Remy, but it was.
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, it was a very, very spiritual meaning for the number 21 in numerology. I think it's on one of the first Instagram posts. But regardless, it's been such a honor to kind of do this. I'm definitely going to miss the community. Can we have a reading group? We can definitely have a reading group, girl. We can read some Eric Jerome Dickey. We can read some Zane. We can read whatever you want.
Oh, I found it. So okay. In numerology, 21 represents the ultimate fulfillment of a long and arduous process of spiritual transformation. The root number of 21, which is 3, is the number of unbridled creativity taking material form. There you go.
It's heavy. She heavy. So yeah, it's definitely been It's definitely been good.
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm curious about the stories that didn't make the cut into the book.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
Tracy, get that tea, Tracy.
Well, one story in particular that did not make the cut, again, in the spirit of vulnerability, I didn't want to involve anything in the story, any instance in the story from my past that I wasn't ready to face. Or I don't want to say not ready to face. I want to say that I didn't add anything into the story around topics that I just didn't want to exist in the story. Like, not that they were not good enough, but the experience kind of just didn't fit. It didn't match. And the story, the context of the story kind of felt misplaced or worthless. My words were not worthless, but the experience behind it, I just didn't, I didn't want it to be there. And that shouldn't suggest that the stories and the context of the stories in my book are not heavy, are not emotional, but that some of the stories that I did have in my bag, I didn't want to talk about those people or those situations. I just didn't want to. There were some love stories that I felt that were, or love poems that I felt were like too sugary sweet, and I do have sugary sweet poems in there. What do you want from me? I love love. But there are some that are just like, ugh, too much. So I didn't add those in there. But yeah, no, that's a good question. There are a couple that I didn't add, and for various reasons. Yep.
So I have another question.
Yeah.
Since you do have those, I'm sorry, I'm eating, but yeah, anyway, those stories that you do have left over, and since you foresee yourself possibly writing another book in the future, do you think they'll have a place in your next book?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think that the poetry and the short stories that I've written that didn't get added to this book, I feel like I needed to do that strictly for myself and like healing purposes, that I don't want to kind of see the light of day. And then more than that, I think that anything that I write from here and on should be added, just because of my age and the age appropriateness and what I'm going through right now and what I will continue to go through. I would want those things to be in my next work. And it's funny when you guys listen to the podcast on Tuesday, Audra, the host of the podcast of Between the Reads, she says that one line in my book should be the title of my next book. And I was just like, okay, I was kind of thinking that maybe I could write my next work when I'm 40 to account for my 30s. And she was like, you mean to tell me that we're going to have to wait until you're 40 for your next book? And I'm just like, oh. She was just like, yeah, you need to do this. I'm like, okay, I don't want no problems. So yeah, I don't think that those old stories are going to be a part of the new work. I want to give the audience kind of some new stuff after this.
And do you see yourself staying in the nonfiction realm, or do you think you'll venture into fiction?
Yeah, this makes the most sense for me, nonfiction right now, just because my life is very colorful. And again, this work, while I have works that are healing that will not be published, this particular work, Love Oirs, has been super healing for me, and has like gotten me to a really good place of understanding myself and my ancestors. So I think that nonfiction may be the bag, for lack of a better phrase, going forward. But I don't shy away from nonfiction. There are some, from fiction, there are some fiction pieces in Love Oirs as well. just with fiction, my mind is so big, and so when I start writing fiction, I just keep going and going and going and making new plots and making new characters and giving them different arcs and stuff, and so it just gets big, and I can't zip that shit up.
Harry
With-
Potter, girl, do it. Do it.
yeah, no, I'm definitely going to challenge myself. But with nonfiction, it's like, I know what happened. I know the beginning, the end. I just need details at that point. And so I think that's why it's a bit better to navigate. But I absolutely want to challenge myself with fiction. Yeah, I really want to write something about assassins. I've always wanted to write something about like.
I would love a good
assassins.
Black assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that should happen.
Me and John may have to collab one time for the one time. Misha says, celebrating you so hard and celebrating the emergence of your writer self. Gotta hop off. Oh, I love you, Misha. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Misha, my editor. She's the freaking best. Thank you so much, Misha. Okay, guys. Well, if there are no more questions, I don't want to hold y'all. Getting ready for a little shindig, box social, as one might say. So I'm gonna hop off, but I love you guys so much. I can't wait to see you guys listen to the podcast. Please purchase the Kindle version for pre-sale that's ready now, and the hard copy or the paperback will be available in the coming weeks for pre-sale on Amazon. And then, of course, written by KD for all updates. I love you guys so much.
And the link for the pre-sale is in the chat, FYI.
Yeah, it's in the chat. And then we'll put the link for the pre-sale as well on Instagram on Written by KD. Thank you guys. I love you guys. Have a great Saturday. Bye.